So, I mean, I know it was a while ago, but we mentioned that you were on this show. It wasn't too big of a show, but it had a long running. It was called Breaking Bad,
Yeah.
right? Just shifting over into Breaking Bad now. So this career kind of went on, and then you found yourself on this hit show. It wasn't known that it was going to be a hit show at the time. I mean, that
Oh,
um, right. So kind of that, and I'll never forget that scene. I mean, it was that scene with Jesse when he's kind of on the run. He's trying to find a place to stay for a little bit. He goes to his old friend who they
yep.
had a band together, and we see you guys the Fallacy song. I'm not even going to try to sing it, but you were on the guitar.
Fallacy, fallacy, fallacy.
Man, and it's what it was is you were the only friend that he had that was a normal guy. Like you were just and at least it seemed like you were just like a normal guy. You got the kid and the wife, and he just needed a place to stay, and everything was good. And I think a lot of people can kind of find themselves in that similar scenario where you just need a little bit of help. But then people know that, hey, there's a trouble pass, or this just might be trouble. And he already knew as soon as your wife grabbed you, he knew that he was going to get kicked out. But what was it like working with Aaron Paul and just being part of the Breaking Bad journey?
Well, I mean, like you said, I was second season, and we knew it had buzz because I was doing Friday Night Lights, and I was in between, that and I got the opportunity from Joe Edna Baldwin uh, to go and audition for Breaking Bad, and it was a guest star role. And when I didn't know, I haven't seen first season of Breaking Bad, so I had to go back and study and research. Going, oh man, holy crap, this has got a great cast. It's got and uh, and of course the writing, God, it's amazing. Um, but no one knew when you showed up on that set. Everybody was just so. It was so relaxed. It was so enjoyable to be around the people that we were around. Bryan Cranston, phenomenal, right? Aaron, a great guy. It's just everybody about that was just, it was about enjoying the moment that you were in and absorbing everything you possibly could, but yet giving back everything you possibly could. And when you're on set, especially series runs, and especially when you start getting a lot of interest, the writers want everything their way, you know. Um, but if they see something, if you try something, if you trust yourself and try something that feels honest and true, and it comes across that way, they'll allow you to carry it. And they're like, oh my God, that's so good. Yes, do that and carry it this way. And so it builds and builds and builds. And I think that's what made that show such an amazing show, is that, everything was so open to ideas, but yet very structured. And, it turned out to be one of the number one shows ever. And second season, we were all just like, I mean, when I showed up, everybody was just like, hey man, it's a great show. We're having a lot of fun. Hey, good to see you. Yeah, and I've saw this and this will be great. And we just went off and did it. And we played around with it. We shot maybe 8 different scenarios of that scene, and we just kept going.
Yeah, because the first season was short. I remember there was a writer's strike going on, and that first season, I think it was something like 7 episodes or 8 episodes, and then it rolled into the second season, and at that point, you know what I mean. I mean, there was definitely some buzz kicking off, but the show didn't begin to be great until the end of season two, the
Yeah.
finale that kind of kicked off into season three. I think that's when most people that I loved it from day one. The first episode, I was like, I'm in. But for most people that have watched it, the hook is kind of that season two to season three when we get to see Mike and we get to learn more about Gus. The show just took catapulted into greatness, and it kind of reminded me a little bit of The Sopranos, kind of falling in love with the anti-hero.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I mean, now you got Better Call Saul as well. But yeah, I mean, that's just one of my all-time favorite shows, and I probably rewatched it a bunch of times. But that scene with with you and Jesse, man, I always I actually just sang that song, a few days ago, the Fallacy song, and it's like, man, who knows? Maybe because Breaking Bad or Better Call Saul, now we're in the final season. We're at the point now to where we're gonna hit Breaking Bad. So maybe we'll see you in there. Maybe we'll have you and Jesse do a little scene together.
Listen, it's always good when they don't kill you off. I'll tell you that. So a dear good friend of mine that I grew up with in Texas was Charles Baker. He played Sneaky Pete, and they did El Dorado, and he had a big play in that. Yep. And we were always hoping that they would do a spinoff for Sneaky Pete for him, because I think that character has a lot to offer still. I really do, and it may happen. Who knows, but Netflix kind of kept El Dorado kind of quiet and stuff. And we were talking, and he's like, man, I can't say anything, but I'm just saying, it's something cool, and it's coming out and all this good stuff. So.
Yeah, I don't know how they kept that project under wraps. I mean, there was a little bit of buzz on the news, but no one knew that they actually had it filmed and that it was finished. There was talks about it being done, just like on searches and stuff, but no one knew that they actually had filmed. I mean, the way that they kept it quiet, and yeah, Skinny Pete, he was definitely the most dimensional that we've seen him. There was more drama involved, and you started seeing that more towards the end of the show with him. But he really loved Jesse, and you felt it in there, and he was willing to put himself in trouble. Because Badger was kind of like, should we do this? Should we not do this? But Skinny Pete was like, just take it, man.
Dude, I listen. I think I wouldn't be surprised in the next 5 years if you don't see something within a Skinny Pete Badger scenario somewhere, right? Because everybody, I mean, right now we're starving for new content. We are, because there's so many reruns that have been going on and stuff. Production has came back, but now it's slowing down again because of the new, of course, COVID outbreak. But everybody's starving for something new, and I think now's the exciting time, as you mentioned in previous conversation, is as a writer to see new content, new ideas, new structures, new way of thinking about characters and the way you approach them and how they are portrayed on camera to the audience to bring something interesting and value and alive to the audience to make them attached to it. And it's going to be interesting. It really is, because there's a lot of time to think about all that and place it all together.
Yeah, I'm definitely with you, and I would love to see some sort of spinoff with the Badger and Skinny Pete. And I don't want to spoil it for the fans that haven't seen El Dorado. I'm sure everyone's seen it, but the way that it ends, there's definitely life for bringing those guys back together, even if it's just them two doing something. I mean, I can watch those guys just play video games. Just the way that those two guys play video games is funny. You know what I mean? Just fighting with each other.
Yeah.